Hello YouTube, it is Damien. Welcome to the first episode of Bright Lights. We are with Sunderland, and the first thing I'm going to talk about is why have you called it Bright Lights, Damien? Very simply, it's a play on words from their stadium. They're called the Stadium Light. For anyone that doesn't know, or I would imagine most people watching this know that Sunderland have had the lights dimmed in their recent history. They have slumped all around down to League One of English football. However, at the moment in real life, they're currently in third after 15 games played. But just going to try and bring the light back to Sunderland is the main reason behind the name. Now, anyway, that's not why we're here for, to talk about why have you named it this, Damien. The main reason is this is Sunderland. This is going to be my longer-term save. For everybody that watched the YouTube video about what we're going to do this year and, the AUFC beta save, they know that my goal was to go do a tier 8 to top with a lower-based English club, but I have to wait for a lower league database for that. As it stands, there's not one going to be ready for at least another month, maybe two. I didn't want to wait that long to get into a longer-term save. I love longer-term saves. If we had to wait, we would have had to spend 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 seasons in Australia. Australian seasons are quick to sim through. I think they could get boring or repetitive, so I've decided to go branch off and do a save that will give us a little bit more longer-term content. Now, why I picked Sunderland is, so I've got to give some credit to a mate of mine, Harry, if you're watching. Good credit, good suggestion. I messaged a friend that plays a lot of Football Manager and watches FM content like myself. And, not as in watching me, watches other people like Dr. Benji, Workspace, etc., etc. And I said to him, what do I do? He says, why don't you do a club that's in the lower tier of English football, not right down, but, somewhere in the, League One, League Two spectrum, and bring them back to their former glories. And then he mentioned Portsmouth. Now, I've done a Portsmouth save with FM14. I love Portsmouth. I love the club. The story of Pompey is great. And it really appealed to me. However, in recent history, the demise of Sunderland has been so great that I think that everybody knows about it. So to do a series where we can maybe bring Sunderland back to some former glory and even better glory, it would be nice. Hence why I've called it Bright Lights, to bring some brighter times to some Sunderland fans. Now, I think the goal for the save is very, very easy for this one here, is can we make Sunderland a top 6 side club? Can we get him to the Premier League? Can we get him to a Premier League title? Can we get him to a Champions League? Can we get him to a Champions League final? I think those are the things we can tick off. How long it takes depends how long-term this is. I know that the database for our lower league save won't start until after December, probably. So this at least gives us this month and most of December probably to get that done, right? Do I think I can do it in that time? Probably not. It's probably too short of a time, right? Because we are in League One. But as things stand, I think we're the best side in League One. If we look at the season preview, I would imagine that we are. I haven't looked at this yet. Yeah, we're pretty much. And Charlton and Fleetwood are evens as well. So maybe we might have a little bit of trouble trying to finish first. But we should really be in that top 4 for most of the year. I reckon that it shouldn't take us too long to get Sunderland to the Prem. It's just a matter about what signings I make and so on. Now, I've done the welcome to the club. I've done the tactics induction, loaded up a tactic that I think we will use, but it depends. Obviously, I've left the responsibilities as is as well. And the English transfer window is open, and there will be talks about what's going on, obviously, there. A little bit of a background on Sunderland. They've won the Premier League 6 times, 2 FA Cups. It's a team of a lot of rich history. So the team in League One's quite not upsetting, but it's not where they belong in terms of where their history suggests. James Fowler is someone that we will talk about. Is when James Fowler introduced me to, what do you want me to do at the club, etc. I looked at him, got 5-man management, and his judging player ability. Because it's a longer term save, we will get in some staff that I prefer. Maybe for the first season, we might leave him there, and then we'll see how we go. Fowler sends in a Sunderland report. We've got Duncan Watmore, who I think is a great player, was a great player in the Prem. He could be a potential leading championship winger in the future, so that's really good for us as well, in terms of where the team is at. We've got some other people in here. We've got a lot of young youth prospects as well. I just think this is a really good club to be doing a longer term save with. It tells me it's only got 4 mil left in the transfer budget, 6k left in the wage budget. For me, from my background of being in League One, I usually do it with a Vanarama side or a non-league side, and then I'm in League One. I've never actually started with a League One or League Two side before. So that amount of money to me in this sort of level is like out of this world. That's a lot. To Sunderland, that's not. I actually think Sunderland's squad doesn't need too much touching up, but we'll go over that in a second. Obviously, they want promotion by winning the league. They want us to reach the 4th round of the FA Cup and reach the 3rd round of the Carabao Cup. I'm going to introduce myself to the club. I'm going to tell them very, very quickly I'm expecting to win the league. I think we can go up to the champions this year. Everybody is up for a champions campaign. Training induction I'll take later. I'll do it after this video. Training, instead of my AUFC, I left it to someone else. I'm going to take training a little bit more on myself. With Sunderland, maybe in League One we'll just focus on trying to win the league, and we might leave it to an assistant. But we will probably take training, especially in the Prem, especially even when we're fighting for promotion in the Championship. We'll take it upon ourselves to really train, or maybe when we get some really good youth prospects in, or some younger players that we've signed, I'll take training more on myself. But I reckon for the early part, we'll leave it up to our assistant or one of the coaches to do. Now, let's get onto the tactic. Now, I've loaded up the Liverpool tactic. That's a mixture of the Adelaide United tactic and something I did for Liverpool. Now, would it be the system I use? It may not be. I'm going to go through it in a little bit more in depth off the video, and then next video we'll go through it again about what the tactic looks like. But this gives us a little bit to look at. Now, the first thing you notice is injuries, and yes, big injuries too. Keeper isn't too far away, and it looks like John is going to be quite the keeper as a sweeper keeper on defend. He looks pretty there. He looks pretty good for the level. If you go on his coach's report, he's the leading player for most League One sides. Saying that Paul Reed's giving me that. Like, can we get like Potter? Fowler's decent at it. Definitely need some coaches here. Yeah, that Michael Proctor would do, but you know, it's not too bad. We'll see why on attack, get him on defend, please. There we go. That's a little bit better. And that in terms of ball playing defenders and that, we'll probably go through it a later date and make it more of a system that we need. But we'll see how we go. We'll go through the team as is, and we'll talk about a few different players that I feel like that we need to talk about. And then we'll go through the club screen, see what the club or what the game thinks of what players we should be talking about as well. And we'll go from there. The first one I see is actually Josh Major on the bench. And now this guy I know already has got some potential. And with potential to be a championship sort of striker in the future. And with Wicker being out injured for quite a while, you may see Major start, or you will see Major start quite a few games, I will say. Tom Flanagan for the level was really good as well. He's decent player for most championship sides. I feel like we're going to be in quite a strong position. Leon Cornet is a player that's got obviously great physicals. He's a leading player for most championship sides. He's a constant performer. I honestly think that he can be quite good for us. I would probably play him on centre back on defend then in this system. Baldwin again is not bad. He goes through. He's got very good heading, marking, tackling for the level. Probably for a future level though, probably not. It says that he's got a little bit of potential left to grow into. I don't think so. He's a leading player for most League One sides, so I think Jack Baldwin's at his level, and maybe a player we may look to get out for something younger. Obviously, Oviedo is a player that's been here for a little bit of a while. I would imagine 3 years when they were in the Premier Division, and he stuck around. He's wanted by Norwich on a transfer. It depends how much money they want to give us. For the level, though, he is unreal as a left-footed fullback. I think he would be quite good in this wing on support. He's more natural as a fullback on attack, which I also don't mind. If the system forms into something different, you will see him play fullback on attack, but there we go. You have to start this man, though, if you're playing with the Sunderland. Same, Lee Cartmore, what a player. He's very natural in a lot of positions. I actually think his deeper role was his better role. He's a good player for my championship sides, and for this year, he'll do a very good job for us as well. So, Power, there's a box-to-box. Now, Power, I reckon, is an English box-to-box, is not bad. He's he's on loan for us, and then joining us permanently at the end of his loan. He's got decent potential for the future, so he's definitely a player we can use in the championship. He's a leading player for most Sky Bet League One sides. I feel like he's not bad. Unfortunately, I can't pronounce it, but Dylan has got some crazy potential and is really good, but he's out for the next 3 weeks or 2 months, depending on how good he is. He's got decent Premier League potential, and he's also really good for the current level that we're at, as well as he's already a championship quality player. I expect this guy to drum up some interest if he starts playing well. But in saying that, though, the Scottish international, if we can keep him around, he's definitely a player that we can build, not our long-term future on, but definitely we can build around for our future to get promoted from the championship. And even in that first season of the Prem to keep us up is someone we can build around as well, Dylan. He's more natural in this deep line playmaker role on support. I don't mind playing that. In the AFC, I wouldn't have. But with Cardinal playing as a ball-winning midfielder, I don't mind Dylan sitting in the hole and playing as a deep line playmaker on support. But it's something we'll think about in the future. Everyone knows about Duncan Watmore. I think this guy in real life has a bit more potential than this. Actually, no, it says decent Premier Division. Never mind. That's probably about right. I think he can be a Premier League player on his day. He actually looked really good back when he came onto the scene for Sunderland. You know, you had a few seasons, and, you know, you just saw glimpses of, oh, this guy looks all right. I think at the level that we're at, Duncan Watmore is going to carve up the league on a winger on attack. That 9 crossing, yes, it's not the best, but if he's beating men with his pace and getting into the box, and, you know, his finishing's good and his dribbling's good to beat a man, I think Duncan Watmore will be quite alright, and we'll pretty much get him training on his crosses as early as possible. Maguire, though, I'm tipping this guy to have a very good year. Inside forward on attack is his most natural role. I love playing with inside forward on attack. It suits me and how I manage. On a free, I think this is some marvellous business for the level. To get him in on a free, then he's a leading player for this level. He's really good. And I honestly find people that are like this on a leading level, you know, in Sky Bet League 1, usually have decent years in the first season up. So in the Championship first year, I expect Chris Maguire to be pretty decent at what he does. And up front, Wicket is really good for the level, the 25-year-old. His potential to be a good Championship player with leading Sky Bet League 1 at the moment is his current ability. I feel like this guy and Major, who we highlighted earlier, is going to be quite good. They're going to be quite interchangeable. You know, Major off the bench, pressing forward, advanced forward, where, as you saw with Adelaide United, a target man in this system is not too bad. So we'll see how we go. Other names that I see that are injured or should be talked about, like Adine McGeady, a player that most FIFA players would know from back in the day. You know, he spent time at a lot of time at Everton, a lot of time in Moscow. You know, I used to pick him up on FIFA in Moscow's 5-star skiller player that people may realise. I remember him from Everton. You used to be able to pick him up as a cheap winger that was quick. You know, he spent a loan at Sheffield Wednesday. He spent a loan at Preston. Sunderland obviously brought him in. They got relegated. He played 35 games. I think as a bench player, he's actually not bad at changing games. He's got decent speed, great flair, can play inside forward or can play as an inside forward on either side because his left foot's not that bad as well by memory. And look, he cuts in from both wings. So as a bench player, I think this guy's absolutely fantastic. He's on a first-team contract, so the idea would be to get him on a lower-term contract as well. Jerome Sinclair used to be of Liverpool, obviously. I honestly think this guy probably had some potential and Liverpool didn't give him enough opportunity. But something that we maybe will look into. In terms of that, though, we'll see what like the team report and the squad depth says. And we'll get it from Cooper again, wherever he is, or Proctor it was. Because I think Proctor is not bad. You know, it says that Megan and Wicket are pretty good. McGee, Maguire, Duncan Watmore, obviously, is not bad. Gooch is someone that we didn't see, the 22-year-old from America. He actually looks not bad, a little bit of potential. So I see that, and I see a leading Championship winger. So another bench player to have. It looks like they have a lot of wingers, which is good. In the middle of the park, they're a bit short, and especially at centre defensive midfield. Liam O'Neill comes in as well as a box-to-box. He fits what we do play. And he's got a little bit of potential as well, so it's not too bad. Right back, obviously not bad. I haven't looked at Reece James. There we go. Maybe a name people know at Sunderland. I don't know Reece James all too well. Good Sky Bet League player and great potential. Kone obviously here as well on loan from Strasbourg will start every game. And then his partner in crime will probably be Baldwin, but if Luvers, who is 34, proves his worth, I reckon he will be alright as well. His pace does hurt him, but once again, at this level, it's not too bad, and so on and so forth. We will take a quick look in the under-23s. If we see anyone with some potential, we'll shout him out. It doesn't look like they do have as many youth prospects as the thing was saying. And then I see this guy. Alright, so Bali Mumbi, on a youth contract, has got decent determination, decent pace, decent physicals, decent well-rounded physicals, apart from his jumping, which is fine at that age because he will grow. Decent range of passing. He looks not bad. He's someone that I would get in and around the first team at this level and get him training. So what we are going to do is we are going to move him to the senior squad. And if Liam Cartonell has as much determination, I think he should have. Doesn't have as much. I'm going to go through the squad. If someone has a high amount of determination that is willing to, tutor the young Bali Mumba. I will tutor him up as well. But there we go. That's the run through of Sunderland so far. It's a quick look. I don't want this episode to be super long as well. I want this episode to be quite short to the point. This is the new save we're doing. What I'm going to do is off stream. Usually I don't stream on Fridays. Foot Champs got moved back though a day because of connectivity issues. So I might stream. It does depend. And if I do stream, it will be this save as well. But I will go off stream. We'll do a very in-depth, I'll pull out my trusty book and my notes. Write up what I think is my best side, where I need players, and we'll come back with a second episode where when we well into preseason, I'll go on, this is who I want, this is why I want them, this is the position we need, and go through a very big rundown of, this is the squad, this is who I like, this is the people that I've cut from the squad and we try to sell on, and so on and so forth. The last thing I'm going to say is 36 mil in the bank. We at Sunderland, even though we're in League One, should be having a good balance for the championship if we get promoted this season. It could be some fun times ahead in the save. I'm quickly going to save the game too as well. But that's going to be the end of the episode. As always, links in the description below for my Twitch, Twitter, and my Facebook as well. Twitter is probably the best place to look for when we're going live, updates on the new save, etc., etc. Twitch, obviously, we do stream Football Manager live most days than not. We're going to be streaming this save. You probably see the Adelaide United save on there occasionally, and obviously the FM Premier League, which starts next week, will be streamed live every week, no matter what, at whatever time that the game is played. I'll be on an hour before doing pre-game stuff, and then we'll do post-game stuff as well, and I'll probably just go into a longer-term stream as well, and we probably stream for 4 or 5 hours, even though, we just got on to play one game. Enjoy the rest of your day or night, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and that is Damien and Sunderland, not Adelaide United, ending the first episode of Bright Lights. Thank you and goodbye.